My presentation addresses academic argumentation. The goal of this presentation is to build on what we learned in class, as we never covered specific types of resolutions in detail, and we never learned about how to frame an argument. First, we will cover what types of resolutions are presented. Second, we will focus on the framing of an argument. And third, I'm going to show you how this information can be practically applied in the real world. Resolutional analysis. So resolutional analysis is the act of framing an argument according to the type of resolution. A resolution is whatever you're arguing about. So if you're arguing with a sibling, a family member, etc., you're either arguing a fact resolution, a value resolution, or policy resolution. A fact resolution is something where you're just debating a fact. It's in the name. An example of this would be the infrastructure bill is good for the United States of America. You could just say yes or no to this question, and it hinges on the fact that you're just answering based on facts. A value resolution is something that is moral. It's often noted by specific wording within the argument. If you use the words should implies a moral obligation. So an example of a value resolution would be the marketplace of ideas should be revised. The should there is really what keys you into it being a value resolution. Finally, a policy resolution combines the previous two that I mentioned. What a policy resolution has that distinguishes it from the other two is you see an actor and what they're doing. So an actor is a specific organization, a person or group, and what they're doing implies some policy change. So an example of this would be the United States federal government should do something about elderly drivers. This brings us to our next point, is after you decide what type of resolution you have, you need to figure out how you're going to weigh your arguments within the conversation that you're having. How do you find common ground? And this is based off of framework. Framework, what it does is allows you and the person you're talking to figure out what you both value and figure out who can uphold whatever framework you're arguing under better. While it doesn't have to be as stringent as what I'm producing to you today, this should always be sitting in the back of your mind. Because if you want to convince someone as to whatever you're speaking about, you have to appeal to what they value. So if someone's arguing a fact resolution to you, they normally care about what evidence you're bringing to the table. If you're going to say something is or is not, you need to provide convincing evidence, and this is called preponderance of evidence. Under a value resolution, people get more moral. They appreciate moral arguments. So they take everything into consideration, not only fact-wise, but moral-wise, and this is called qualitative on balance. Finally, when you combine fact and value, what you're doing is you're weighing the cost versus the benefits of a situation. And what this means is you have to prove that your side holds more benefits than it does negatives, and you have to prove what they're arguing holds more negatives than benefits. Once you've decided framework, you need to figure out how you're going to structure a contention, and what a contention is synonymous to is an argument. A contention holds three main things, and we went over these in class. It holds a claim, it holds data, and it holds warrant. This is the Tolman method. A claim is a general statement that supports your argument. So if I was going to argue that Disney is harmful, I could talk about some of the policies that they have in their parks. Data is evidence as to why that's true. I would just bring in whatever evidence I found on the internet. And warrant is telling whoever you're talking to how that data supports your claim. Finally, we need to address why this is actually useful. So knowing this and type of argumentation is useful in your everyday life because it helps build clarity in your arguments. It creates structure. It helps organize your thoughts through that Tolman method. And it creates good understanding within arguments, not only of your own argument, as well as whoever you're talking to. And finally, it keeps arguments civil, so you and the person you're talking to can find common ground with each other. Those are my citations. Thank you everyone for listening.